Okay.
Erik, it's obviously been a day, but to be 14 down in the fourth, when a lot of teams, even in this NBA, sort of let it go, what can this night mean for you guys going forward?
I mean, what it means right now is just we prove to ourselves that we have a tremendous amount of grit, and you've gained confidence from that. Last time we played Orlando was the same type of thing. We had to totally gut it out, and there are so many inspiring defense plays down the stretch. And, Bam is just a true definition of a two-way player, and I understand what people are saying about his offense. It was great for him to have that moment where he had big offensive plays down the stretch, but we can't also forget how impactful he can be defensively in whatever coverage against 1 through 5, and he proved that tonight against two really difficult covers. Both those guys are downhill. Both those guys can. Wagner just had 25 in the fourth quarter the other night. Banchero, has had 50, in a game this year. He's bullying guys. He's just a tough cover. And then to have the energy, to make those plays going down the stretch was big. Our young guys played really well. They had different moments where they played well, other times where it was a struggle. But that's what it is against Orlando. I think going through those experiences where you figure out a way to win, where it's not smooth sailing, I think is so important for a basketball team, and particularly a young team or a team that has young players. I think that'll be something we can build on.
Bam had those post-ups at the end, but before that, so much of the offense with the two bigs on the floor was working for the threes and then working from the overreactions to the threes and getting downhill for the dunks. What role does Bam play in that part of the offense with the two bigs on in terms of setting Duncan and Tyler up and working the inside out?
Yeah, I mean, it gives us an opportunity to expand our menu a little bit. We can run more catch and shoots, get those guys on the run where it's not just pick and roll basketball. Bam also has the versatility that, when Tyler was, on the ball quite a bit, we were able to take him off the ball, and Bam could just be our point forward. The double screens can open things up, but then also we want to get to the rim. It's not about threes. It's about, can we put rim pressure? Can we get, some overreactions, getting behind the defense or attacking, getting downhill. Those lobs were really important, and those were off of drives. Nico had a great one where he put his head down, got in there and got a lob to Kel'el. Obviously, Duncan had that other one. We've had a couple miscues, but Duncan's to Bam was a really big play when their switches were kind of, bottling us up a little bit, in that second half. We're working on it, and we're learning more, each day, and we'll get better.
Erik, first time all season you played Ware, Bam, Jović together. Had you seen that lineup much in practice, and what do you like about the size of those three together?
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's the skill level. I mean, as long as and everybody is intentional about working on things and our spacing. Where's the ball going, and then how do we continue to maintain our spacing, and then taking the challenge on the other end. Nico did a good job defensively in the fourth quarter in the overtimes. And then, Kel'el and Bam have already been building this chemistry defensively. You talk about chemistry offensively, but that also can be a real thing defensively. And that's what we want. We want to make it really hard for teams to score easy buckets, in the paint, at the rim. And then, our offense, we think is it'll get better, as we spend more time together.
You mentioned before about the two big lineup, what it would lead to for Tyler as a shooter, but obviously you see the passing ability with the 12 assists, what that leads to when they're doubling, blitzing, all that stuff. What did you kind of see from the coverage he saw tonight and just how it's reacting with those type of
he saw every coverage, and he did every action. If we just would have worn him out on the ball, pick and rolls, I think he'd have been really fatigued by the end. And that's why I say that versatility of having Bam being able to handle, run different actions, also just get Tyler off the ball in random, situations. That kind of loosened things up. His playmaking has gotten a lot better over the last 2-3 years. So now he's just doing it in a lot of different areas. It's not just pick and rolls. He's doing it off of catch and shoots or off of movement. And that's how to keep defenses honest. I mean, that's what happened with Bam late. If guys are open, Pat always says that one of the biggest fundamental offensive truths, if somebody's open, throw it to them. And they were switching, and Tyler has that ability just to make these quick passes while there's a window there, while they're trying to figure out the switch. And he can get some easy things, from that. But his passing has really, been an added bonus for us.
I think Bam held Paolo to just 2 points in that fourth quarter when you guys made that comeback. What did you think about his defense specifically in that stretch? And then is that sort of the vision now, being able to use him on like a wingish type of
Well, it could
player?
be anything, whatever's needed. The next game it could be a 5. The next game it could be switching, and he's guarding a dynamic point guard. Actually, we're going to face this the next game. I don't know what our scheme will be, but that's part of Bam's versatility. In the last 5 years in particular, he's literally done every scheme and guarded everybody in this league. We'll figure out how we want to maximize, this versatility defensively, which is different, but is as potentially impactful as any, kind of lineup we've had defensively.
Coach, I know you've spoken at length about Kel'el, but kind of getting those 2 early fouls and maybe having the mindset of not being too aggressive, but still being that presence in the paint that he is, and just
he's going to have to continue to work on it. He's drilling on it with Malik every single day, getting his hands out of there. If he gets his hands in here, aggressive offensive players, try to get those cheap fouls, staying down on shot fakes. But for a young guy, he does a pretty good job of staying down on shot fakes. That second one was because Carter hit the first one on him, and just stay more disciplined with that. But he'll continue to work on it. He even did a couple switches, emergency switches, throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, and Spo, to add on to where obviously quality minutes from him tonight, but his confidence though, where do you see that stands out to, especially down the stretch there, his confidence on the court?
Yeah, he's a very sure-minded individual. I've really enjoyed getting to know him. He's surprised me in some ways. That's why I think when you've preparing for the draft, it's really hard to truly get to know somebody until they're in your building, in your system, day-to-day work. He said his first year in college, he never said a word. That's not the case with us. He's a very engaging guy, and he's highly intelligent. He's fun. He works. He's coachable, and he's getting better from all that. And I think he's enjoying this whole process.
Orlando was pretty deliberate at chasing the Tyler matchup for a lot of the key spots. I know, like an outside fan might see that as he's trying to dodge, a matchup. But how much of his skill is it that Tyler has improved at that show to get out of those matchups, and then Bam obviously being able to recover to it and protect him?
That's another little nuance, right? That not a lot of bigs can fight through all those screens. I mean, I probably have to chart those. I mean, we can find out how many screens Bam had to get through tonight, for a center. That's highly unusual, to have that kind of skill set. I think he got caught one time, got stuck on a screen. But it's the same thing we're telling our guards all the time. Don't get stuck on screens. Don't die on screens. Get over, get through. It helps the rest of our defense. Don't leave it to the bigs. Well, Bam did it. He never, laid on a screen, and that's part of his versatility. But Tyler, what you're saying, they've done it now enough that they can shift coverages, depending, so it's not so predictable. Okay, thank you.